God is an alien. A lot of you freaking out right now by that statement. But hold on, not so fast. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Methodist Dave. I'm a professional theologian and Bible teacher. When I say the word alien, most of you, the image that comes to your mind is little green man, E.T., something from outer space. We've got that image of the Martians and things like that. Alien means from another place, a person who's from another place. For instance, this is the United States that I'm filming in right here. And if someone were to come here from France, they would be an alien. Or if they came here from Canada, they would still be an alien. If I went to Mexico, I would be an alien in Mexico. It's someone who's not from where you are. Now, Genesis 1:1 tells us that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, this means that God created our planet, the other stars, the universe, everything that exists, God created according to Genesis 1:1, which means God was not part of the universe, the galaxy, anything that we have here now. God wasn't there because this didn't exist. The universe is a creation that God made, so that wherever God is dwelling is outside of our universe, possibly outside of our own dimension. It's something that we have no able to reference, an anchor point of reference, so to speak. There's no anchor of reference to say where was God or in what plane does God dwell in. We believe that God is a spirit being and dwells in a spirit realm, which is a different dimension that is from ours. It's at the same time here, but not here. Now, our reality exists and operates under a certain set of rules because God created the universe to operate under those rules. But these rules only apply to this universe, to this reality. If you live outside this system, then those rules do not apply to you. You're operating under a completely different set of rules. So that God is not bound by the laws of physics, which we know, in order to operate how God chooses to operate. I was interested in watching on a YouTube video, Carl Sagan, the late Carl Sagan, great physicist and astronomer, gave a demonstration trying to explain the fourth dimension. And he was using as an illustration a world that's two dimensions. One that is horizontal and vertical, or just left and right. And if that was an existence, a left and right, a two-dimensional existence, imagine someone coming in from a third dimension, and they would be directly next to these two dimensions, but the people dwelling in the two-dimensional world, or the beings in this two-dimensional world, could never see the third dimensional being because all they know is X, Y, left, right, this way or that way. They just know the horizontal plane. And a third dimensional being, which is above in another direction, another dimension, they couldn't relate to that being. So if that is physically impossible in that realm, then God could dwell in another dimension that's beyond our existence. So what existed before God created everything? We don't know. In the same way, modern science can't tell us what existed before the Big Bang. They're unsure about that. All they can tell us is that at some point in time, something happened, and the universe just came into being. Now, what it was before that, no one knows because there's no evidence of it. And all we can do is theorize about it. This is our world that we live in. And see, we can only understand things in relationship with our ability to cope with what we can see, hear, touch, smell, and taste. Those are our only frames of references. And if we are not able to determine or to be able to experience any one of our senses, then we are completely shut out of understanding what something is like. For instance, a person who's blind can't see. How can you describe to them a color? They've never seen a color. What does red look like? Can you describe red? What does blue look like? Can you describe blue? Without using color as a reference. A person who's never seen color can't understand what you're talking about. So we look at God at some point in the time continuum decided to create our world and speak our world into existence. I think speak is a word the text uses so that we can have a point of reference, because we need to have a point of reference to be able to understand what's going on here. I think it's more of an act of will, that God willed creation into existence. And we would understand he spoke and it happened. We have long explored the possibility of telekinetic energy or telekinetic power, to be able to move objects with the power of the mind, with the power of thought. Now, you might scoff at the idea, but let's remember that wherever God is, it's not in our reality. It's someplace else, and the rules of our reality do not apply, as I said before. We've all grown up with an acceptance of a theory proposed in a 60s television program called Star Trek. The theory is that matter can be transmitted into energy, beamed to a specific location, and rearranged back into matter again. The transporter beam. Scotty, beam me up. Later series expanded on this theory by creating the replicator, which would take physical matter somewhere stored in the ship and rearrange it into any type food or liquid, or in a pattern of which was stored in the ship's computer. That matter could be transmitted into energy and then reassigned into matter again. Now, this theory is not without its problems. Molecules are always in motion, so are atoms. So how can you transmit moving objects through an energy beam and have them still reassemble in the same positions they were in when you dematerialize them? Never really answered that question on the TV series. They just came up with a compensator or something. I'm sure our Star Trek fans would be able to fill us in on that. But basically, though, through modern theory like string theory, that proposes that all matter is ultimately made up of strings of energy. We can easily convert matter into energy anytime we want. Take a fuel in an engine, put gasoline in a car, and it's burned. And that energy is created into motion, moving the pistons. Or a piece of wood. Take a piece of wood, put it in a fire. It will give you light and heat, converting matter into energy. Maybe not that efficiently, but we can take matter and convert it into energy, and we do it all the time. What if it's possible to convert energy into matter? If you don't have to observe the rules of physics, if you're capable of doing it, then why not? A being of unfathomable intelligence and power dwelling outside of our reality can conceivably create matter out of energy in an orderly fashion. What if it is actually possible to do that? Genesis 1:1 is a foundational statement. If God can create everything from ostensibly nothing but energy, then anything else is possible. Not bound by our rules, with unlimited energy and with a mind that can do these things, then the notion that God created the heavens and the earth is not quite so baseless. That's going to do it for our first video. There'll be more in this series. I hope you'll join us in watching them, and hopefully I'll be able to improve on my technique here. This is a first try with some new equipment, and it's a learning process, and I hope you'll join the journey with me. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer about theology or the Bible, you can reach me at methodistdave@gmail.com. Send your questions in, and I'll try to give you an answer. In the meantime, you all have a wonderful day. Take care.